Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Today we're re-diving into one of the most powerful and moving stories from the Gospels, the time Jesus healed a man who was born blind. This isn't just a story about a miracle. It's a profound lesson about faith, perception, and the nature of light itself. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's explore this incredible event together. The story begins in the Gospel of John, chapter 9. As Jesus was walking along, he saw a man who had been blind from birth. Imagine that for a moment. This man had never seen a sunrise, the face of a loved one, or the color of the sky. His entire world was darkness. Immediately, Jesus' disciples asked a question that reveals a common belief of the time. They asked Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? This was a heavy question, loaded with the assumption that suffering is always a direct result of sin. It's a mindset that can lead to judgment and a lack of compassion. But Jesus' response turns this entire idea on its head. He says it was not that this man sinned, or his parents, but that the works of God might be displayed in him. This is such a crucial point. Jesus immediately shifts the focus from blame to purpose. He tells them that this man's condition wasn't about punishment. It was about to become a stage for God's glory. It's a powerful reminder for all of us. Sometimes the challenges we face aren't a sign of failure, but an opportunity for God's power to be revealed in our lives. Jesus is about to do something that will not only change this man's life forever, but will also challenge everyone who witnesses it. So, what does Jesus do next? He doesn't just say a prayer or wave his hand. He does something quite unusual. He spits on the ground, makes mud with the saliva, and then anoints the blind man's eyes with it. Can you imagine the scene? The crowd is watching, the disciples are probably confused, and the blind man has mud being spread on his eyelids. It's a very physical, earthy, and almost strange act. By using mud, Jesus is echoing that act of creation. He's not just fixing a problem. He's bringing light where there was only darkness, just as God said, "Let there be light" at the very beginning. Then Jesus gives the man an instruction. He says, "Go, wash in the pool of Siloam." Jesus, the one sent from God, sends this man to a pool named Sent. The man has to participate in his own healing. He has to have faith to obey a strange command from a stranger. He has to navigate his way to the pool, still blind, with mud on his eyes. This journey is an act of faith. He could have questioned it, wiped the mud off, and gone home. But he didn't. He obeyed. It's stated so matter-of-factly, but can we even comprehend the magnitude of this moment? The first thing he ever saw, the shock of light, the vibrant colors, the faces of people around him. His entire reality, his entire world was transformed in an instant. This wasn't just physical healing, it was a brand new life. Now, you might think that's the end of the story, but it's really just the beginning of the drama. The man's neighbors and those who had known him as a blind beggar were completely stunned. They kept asking, "Isn't this the man who used to sit and beg?" The man himself had to settle it. He declared, "I am the man." He explained simply, "The man called Jesus made mud and anointed my eyes and said to me, 'Go to Siloam and wash.' So I went and washed and received my sight." He's just reporting the facts. He doesn't have a deep theological explanation yet. He just knows what happened to him. This is where the religious leaders, the Pharisees, get involved. Some of them immediately discredit the miracle, saying, "This man is not from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath." They were so focused on their rules and traditions that they could unsee the incredible act of mercy and power that had just occurred. Their spiritual blindness was becoming evident. But other Pharisees were more open-minded. They asked, "How can a man who is a sinner do such signs?" They were caught between their strict interpretation of the law and the undeniable evidence of a miracle. The division among them was growing. So they turned back to the man who was healed and put him on the spot. "What do you say about him, since he has opened your eyes?" And the man's faith has clearly grown. His answer is simple but bold. He is a prophet. He has gone from calling Jesus the man to now recognizing him as a messenger from God. His physical sight is leading to spiritual insight. But the Pharisees refuse to believe it, so they call in his parents for an interrogation. They ask them two questions. "Is this your son, who you say was born blind? How then does he now see?" The parents are in a difficult position. They were afraid of the religious leaders who had already decided that anyone who confessed Jesus as the Christ would be put out of the synagogue, essentially excommunicated from their community. So they answer very cautiously. They confirm, "We know that this is our son and that he was born blind." They verify the initial condition. But when it comes to the how, they deflect. "But how he now sees, we do not know, nor do we know who opened his eyes. Ask him, he is of age. He will speak for himself." They protected themselves, but pointed everyone back to the one true witness. Frustrated, the Pharisees call the man back for a second time. They try to pressure him, saying, "Give glory to God. We know that this man Jesus is a sinner." They're trying to trap him, to make him attribute the healing to God alone and denounce Jesus. But the man's response is one of the most brilliant and powerful moments in the entire Bible. He says, "Whether he is a sinner, I do not know. One thing I do know, that though I was blind, now I see." This is the core of his testimony. He cuts through all their theological arguments, their rules, and their accusations with the simple, undeniable truth of his own experience. He's not an expert in the law, but he is an expert on his own life. He was blind, and now he sees. End of story. His personal testimony is his irrefutable proof. This exasperates the Pharisees, and they resort to insults, calling him Jesus's disciple. The man, growing even bolder, turns their own logic against them. He says, "Why? This is an amazing thing. You do not know where he comes from, and yet he opened my eyes. We know that God does not listen to sinners. But if anyone is a worshipper of God and does his will, God listens to him. Never since the world began has it been heard that anyone opened the eyes of a man born blind. If this man were not from God, he could do nothing. He lays it all out with perfect clarity. A man born blind has been healed. This is an unprecedented miracle. Such a thing could only come from God. Therefore, the one who did it must be from God. His spiritual sight is now clearer than that of the so-called spiritual experts. In their anger and frustration at being out-argued, the Pharisees throw him out of the synagogue. This is where the story comes full circle. The man has been healed physically, but then cast out socially, but he is not left alone. Jesus hears what happened and finds him. And now Jesus asks the most important question of all. The man replies, "And who is he, sir, that I may believe in him?" He is ready. His heart is open. He has defended Jesus to the authorities, and now he stands before him, ready to take the final step of faith. Jesus reveals his true identity. You have seen him, and it is he who is speaking to you, the man who had never seen anything, whose first sight was the world around him. Now has the incredible privilege of looking at the face of his healer and hearing that he is the Son of God. His response is immediate and heartfelt. He says, "Lord, I believe," and he worships him. This story is a beautiful illustration of moving from physical and spiritual blindness to true sight and worship. It shows that sometimes those who think they can see are the most blind, while those who admit their need for light are the ones who truly find it.